Hallo und moin aus der Sporthalle in Hamburg. Ich bin Alex Jäger und bei mir David Draiman von Disturbed. Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but...
A little bit tired?
I'm still perpetually jet lagged since the beginning of this tour. I'm like 12 hours difference for me, so it's kicking my ass a little bit, but shows have been great, crowds have been great, been enjoying the run tremendously. It's our most successful European headlining run we've done to date, so really couldn't be more pleased with it.
And you've been to Hamburg a couple of times before.
Many times.
Are you looking forward to it? How do you like Hamburg?
I always look forward to Germany in general. All the German dates are always a pleasure because the crowds are so passionate. They're so into the moment and have tremendous energy. So this is part of the reason why we keep coming back.
Do you have some nice memories concerning Hamburg or the audience or the Sporthalle in general?
To be honest, brother, after as long as I've been doing this, 20 years of doing it, everything kind of blends together after a while. So I'm not going to make something up and lie to you and tell you that I definitively remember a specific Hamburg experience. But I do know that, like I said, as far as Germany as a country is concerned, I always enjoy all of the German cities. I like the quaintness of Hamburg. I like I like the vibe here. Hamburg and Munich and some of those cities in particular are some of my favorites. I mean, I like playing Berlin and some of the others as well, but this is more homey to me, I guess you could say.
Let's talk a little bit about your record. There are a couple of more ballads on Evolution than on your previous records. With a blink of the eye, are you guys going soft?
What do you think? Have you heard the whole record? Yeah, I mean, there's it's something that we've wanted to do in terms of experimenting with some more. We initially called them acoustic pieces, but they're not purely acoustic. They have some electric elements in there. So ballads is actually an accurate way of describing about 40% of the material on the record. So it was just something that we prioritized this time. Danny and I have been talking about it for 10 years. And in a post-success of our cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence era for us, it just gave us the confidence and the desire to start with that style as opposed to start with the heavy stuff. We're never going to suddenly transform into an all-ballad band. That's not going to happen. We just enjoy the powerful and driving stuff too much. But I have to say that it's been incredibly gratifying to create this new material and to perform it live especially. I mean, the way that it's been connecting with people on the performances has been incredibly moving and very, very powerful. So I'm very happy that we did.
So in 2019, people are still ready, though, for the tough stuff?
I think people are ready for a mixture, to be honest. I think that, if all you ever have is one flavor of ice cream, you get bored after a while, right? You got to have some different flavors in there. You got to have... Sometimes, I've said this in other interviews, I'll say it again, sometimes a caress feels best when it's preceded by a nice strong smack. So you gotta have both sometimes.
So you already talked about your cover of Simon and Garfunkel. Before you did covers of Land of Confusion, Genesis, and Tears for Fears, so you were kind of into the 80s, and now you went back to the 60s. How did you come up with that decision to go with Simon and Garfunkel?
We left that decision-making process for the very tail end of that record. We had traditionally, up until this record, just left, we delved into the 80s quite a bit, you're correct. I don't know that there was a specific modus operandi for it, per se. It was just a matter of, I guess, the generation we were all raised in. But we had done quite a bit of that, as you pointed out, so I think it was time for us to delve further back, which is what I encouraged. And then it was actually Mike's suggestion, our drummer, to do the Sound of Silence cover. And the minute he suggested it, it immediately kind of resonated with everybody. And initially I thought we were going to do it in the style that was stereotypical of Disturbed, the style that we did covers like Land of Confusion and Shout and so on and so forth. But it was Danny's strong inclination and his inspiration to go very ethereal and ambient and acoustic and make it more orchestral and let the vulnerability of the vocal delivery shine through. And yeah, I was really unsure. I didn't. It was very experimental for me. I hadn't really gone to a place like that vocally since I was a young man, and so it was a little scary for me. But listening back to it after we had done it the first time through, it harnessed very, very intense emotion, and I think we collectively felt that if it was making us feel that way, that it would make others feel that way as well.
So, did you think already about what's coming up next? Maybe some Neil Young or something like that?
We don't really predetermine that kind of stuff. It's really spur of the moment. It's not like we've got a list of songs that we'd like to cover. So it really just depends on our vibe at the time and where our heads are at. A lot of it has to do with lyrical content. What's the song speaking about? Is it a message that makes sense with who we are as a band? Is it can we present it in a way that is appropriate for Disturbed? So I couldn't tell you.
Since we went back to the 60s with Simon and Garfunkel, do you still have your Mustang GT? Do you still own that?
No, unfortunately not. I miss her too. But she was a money pit. So, and you become a father and a family man, and certain other priorities take shape. And I recently moved from Austin, Texas to Honolulu, Hawaii, almost a couple of years ago now. And the whole transporting of the vehicle would have been a pain, and so I sold my car, I sold my motorcycle, I sold like all the toys of my youth. And
did you get a new one, or
no? I have, I guess, what could be referred to as a sensible car these days. So.
But not a Prius, is it?
No, it's a Tesla Model X, actually. So it's I guess the amped up high-end version of a Prius, you could say.
But you're quite a car enthusiast.
I am.
So what do you think is the most badass rock and roll car there is? Is it the GT?
If we're talking like old school American muscle, I love the old Mustangs, but I'm a big 70, 71 Hemi Cuda fan. I love the old 69 Camaros. I love... and I love, to be honest, I'm an Aston Martin fan. I love. I'm a total James Bond wannabe. So I've never actually had the guts to throw down the money to buy one. But who knows? Maybe one day.
But as you said before, the mixture is the key, I suppose. Between muscle car and stylish British cars.
Variety is the spice of life, right?
All right. Thank you so much for this interview. Have fun in your tour, and especially have fun tonight in Sporthalle.
Thank you.
David Draiman, Disturbed. Bis bald und auf Wiedersehen.